we just left for a trip to Marco Island. It's supposed to be about, we think, 6 to 7 hours to get there. We left with 318 miles on our charge from the house, and our next stop is in Lakeland.
And we're doing our first supercharger stop of the day in Lakeland, Florida. It's a little bit outside of Orlando. And it's also doubling as our lunch stop over here at the Wendy's. So I grabbed that and came over here to plug in, and we'll eat lunch while we're charging up. One interesting thing about this supercharger stop is there's a whole row of wall chargers right next to the supercharger. So if you're stopping here with a little bit more time, such as grabbing lunch at this mellow mushroom right here, that actually could be an option instead of supercharging. Pretty neat.
We have made it to Naples on our one charge, and we'll be charging up here before heading to Marco Island, just in case we are unable to use the destination charger at the hotel. We are also meeting a member of the Tesla family on the way to Marco Island.
And we're just finishing up a charge here in Naples, almost to Marco Island. It was full when we got here, so it was actually site limited. We didn't even get really above 130 kilowatts, but had to run in, pick up a few things at the Target that's conveniently right here. So turned out okay. And we're just topping off at a different supercharger in Naples after spending a little bit of time here. We do have a destination charger at our hotel. However, we realized that they charge for it, and they charge a fair amount more than even supercharging costs. So that's why we're topping off before heading over there.
Now we are heading out on Captain Jack's airboat ride through the mangroves of the Everglades. There will be plenty of time for the car to bake in the sun, and we will check how the sunshade is doing upon returning. Within the first 5 minutes of the airboat ride, we had already spotted our first animal. There were a group of manatees swimming nearby the boat dock. We finished our airboat ride, and after a walk on the nearby boardwalk, we got back in the car for a short drive to the included animal reserve. The Tesery shade worked very well. It definitely was still hot in the car, but the reflective aspect helped keep some of the sun's rays out of the car. I'd also recommend the windshield shade to truly keep the heat out, as we noticed a fair amount of sun coming in through the windshield. It definitely took less time to cool the car, and any energy savings is always great. We are going to do further testing of this at home and show you just how much heat is blocked by the shade, so stay tuned for that in an upcoming video. Next, we headed over to Dolphin Tiki for a nice outdoor lunch on the bay and for ice cream after at a quaint retro ice cream shop called Sweet Annie's. As the sun sets on the first part of our Marco Island adventure, we'd like to summarize our charging times and costs before we head out of Marco Island in part 2 of this video series. Part 2 will show the beach here at Marco Island, as well as a drive through Everglades scenic loop and all of our charging stops on the way home. So hit that subscribe button and make sure you don't miss it.